So we're finally here at the end of spooky season of the movies. So I do have one board game left, but this is my last video for the movies. So in this one I'm going to be doing the letter Y, Z, and a movie starting with a number. So for this one I'm talking about You're Next, Zombieland, and 28 Days Later. This video is going to contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen these movies before, just a forewarning. So to start off with, I'm going to be talking about the movie You're Next. It came out in 2011 and it stars Shani Vinson, who I spoke about before in Bait. She is a fantastic actress, but unfortunately she hasn't been in it very much. I really loved her in You're Next. I really loved her in Bait, but she hasn't really been huge movies and hasn't really gotten that attention she really deserves. But she is fantastic in this movie. Her character isn't really an extraordinary character. She is really strong. She has a huge need for survival. They kind of give her a backstory to explain why she has this knowledge, but they don't really delve into her character too much. They don't really delve into any characters too much. It's set in the one night. The storyline is basically simple. This family sitting down for dinner. She's meeting them for the first time, and then they come under attack. And then from there, it escalates. This is a super gory and violent movie, but it is extremely enjoyable. The acting is enjoyable. With Shani is concerned, the rest are just kind of there. I don't really know them from other acting that they've done. I don't really remember their names or their characters. Like, they don't really stand out, where Shani as Erin is obviously the main character. She's the main attraction. She's what draws you in and keeps you entertained. So I really like her character. I really like her performance. And I like how they portray her through the story. Where the spoiler is concerned, Erin survives. And she's the only survivor. And I actually really love that fact about this movie. I love that she survives, that she walks out, and that she gets the revenge that she rightfully deserves. So essentially, the family is behind it. This is a massive twist that I didn't see coming the first time I watched it, but now rewatching, I'm like it kind of makes sense of like why they're acting kind of scared but not overly concerned. So it is a very simple story. It's something that could actually happen, especially in America with how insane they are when it comes to kind of receiving their inheritance. And yeah, so it seems plausible that it could happen. The story is great. There's that great twist. She gets revenge. It's really gory. And yeah, so I just really enjoy this movie. It's not in-your-face horror. It's more like the thriller suspense film. But it's easily one of my favorite films from 2011. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. Especially if you're becoming a fan of Shani Vinson. She's just terrific in it. The next movie I'm going to be talking about, starting with Z, is Zombieland. Now, there's not actually many films starting with Z. I kind of didn't want to talk about too many zombie movies, but pretty much every movie starting with Z does have something to do with zombies. And with the sequel for Zombieland coming out, I thought this would be the perfect choice. So this movie came out 10 years ago and the sequel is now finally coming. If you haven't seen it before, you've most likely heard about it. It was pre-spoken about in 2009 when it came out, and it's obviously been spoken about now with the sequel coming out. So it stars Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin, who I have previously spoken about in Maggie. So already you've probably seen their movies before. You've probably seen Zombieland. They are fantastic in this movie. It's really funny, really gory. There's that really good balance for this horror movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, but also they have that emotional kind of group impact. And I can't wait to see that again in Zombieland 2. I'm really excited that they're all coming back for it and introducing new characters. There's great chemistry between the cast, and they make their characters believable. It's not as if the actor's playing this character. You kind of believe that that is that character. I think it helps because Jesse Eisenberg is very believable. He has all these rules and he's very strict. Woody Harrelson is believable as kind of the cowboy character. And Emma and Abigail is just very believable as kind of like the sister group that they take care of each other and they bring more of a family vibe into the guys. So I really enjoy their chemistry. They have a great cameo with Bill Murray, which makes it hilarious, and I'm expecting kind of the same thing from the sequel. There's some pretty unique death sequences. There's not really that many jump scares. You can kind of see it all coming, especially because they set it up because they want to have like the best death of the week, like the best kill. And they do a few sequences where they're showing these deaths, and it's just really entertaining. It's not scary, it's entertaining more than anything, but obviously with zombies, some people will be creeped out. My funniest thing is where he's like, I'm scared of clowns, and then there's a zombie clown like a fucking course. And yeah, so I just feel like it's a really enjoyable film that won't scare you. Compared to like a lot of the other zombie movies, especially for Z, they can be super over the top and just really in your face, and this one just likes to take the piss out of itself. And yeah, I'm just really excited for the sequel, and let me know like if you think the movie should have a sequel or not, because I thought it was going to have a sequel 10 years ago. I wasn't really expecting them to wait this long, but I reckon it's going to do just as brilliant as this one because people just love this one so much. So this brings me to my last movie that I'm going to be talking about. So this is 28 Days Later, another zombie movie, but this is vastly different to Zombieland. So this came out in 2002. It's a British movie, so the cast is mainly British, and you kind of have their slang, and just, it's a really enjoyable movie. It opens up to basically Cillian Murphy naked, who just woke up in the hospital from a coma. So if you've seen The Walking Dead, it has a very similar vibe to that. So basically he wakes up, he walks through the hospital, similar to Rick as The Walking Dead. But in this case, there is nothing around to even hint remotely what happened. Basically, everything's gone. Everything's just been abandoned. He does a really smart thing. He grabs the drinks. He grabs clothing. So he does try and get some substance because he obviously just came out of a coma. He looks like shit. Like, he obviously hasn't been given those fluids. So like that is more believable in this context where obviously where Rick woke up in The Walking Dead, he didn't look like he was really in a coma that long. But like Cillian Murphy looks sickly. So kind of him struggling to walk around and being as confused as he is makes more sense. It takes him a while to come across corpses, and then when he does, like he can see people moving, so he yells out hello. Suddenly there's people chasing him, and he's like, okay, like, don't really know what's happening here. So he doesn't come across someone like instantly to help him, like, this is what's going on, like, stay away from them. So I find that really enjoyable, kind of, you're discovering what's happening with this character. He then comes across two other people that do help him out, but is also incredibly scary. So you got Naomi Harris, who's fantastic in this movie, but she does not mess around. She kind of brutalizes this guy in front of him, and like, if this happens to you, like, I will not hesitate. Like, so it's kind of hard to trust someone like that, but at the same time, you don't really have much of a choice. So I feel like we're along on this journey with them. They are both fantastic, and the fact that it was mostly shot in sequence, you can kind of see not only like Cillian Murphy and the character like developing through the story, but as they act it out, you can see like them open up more towards each other as well. So It's a really decently paced storyline considering it goes for almost 2 hours. There is great performances, and then it becomes even better when they meet this father and daughter duo. So this brings in Brendan Gleeson, and he is fantastic in this movie. I love him in pretty much every movie I see him in, but the range of emotions he goes through is just extraordinary because he's so joyful. He just loves his daughter so much. He is so optimistic. And then when it realizes, like, no, like, shit's going down, just the fear hits instantly. He then, sadly, this is a spoiler, becomes infected, and he just becomes super angry at himself. Like, he's been so smart since now, and he just made such a stupid decision. And he's just like, keep my daughter away from me, like, stay away, stay away. And just the raw emotion from him and the raw emotion from all the characters is just easily the standout of this movie. It's not even like the zombies aren't really the focus. It's more the world has become isolated and you've lost your family, you've lost your friends, you now have to come into this other unit, and they do become a family unit within themselves, but then you deal with more loss and more fear because there is zombies that come and attack them, and it's very suspenseful when it does happen, when they're getting followed in the stairwell, when they're changing the tire in the tunnel. Like, that is very suspenseful, but it's not scary. It's not like you have that optimist fate of they will get out of there, they have time. Where most zombie movies, you're like, no, they're definitely dead. Like, there's nothing optimistic. Where this one gives you that optimism. It lets you follow along their story. It lets you kind of believe that there is hope for at least not them to find the cure, but at least to escape for now, because it is set in those days. There's obviously a sequel called 28 Weeks Later, which if you like this one, you will also like that one. They just have different characters and different performances. So I just really do like this movie. It does take a much more disturbing turn towards the end when they think they finally found a safe haven, they found hope. It turns out that the women are in more danger from these people than they ever were from the zombies. And that becomes terrifying, and Cillian Murphy's character, Jim, then goes kind of mental, and that's when the gore really kicks in. And it's not from the zombies, it's from him protecting these people and wanting his family unit to be safe. And well, it's about zombies. They are not the central platform of the movie. They are not the central story. They are there, but they're not central. Unlike Zombieland and a lot of other movies, it's kind of just finding hope, finding joy in whatever you can, even when all hope you feel is lost. It's never the case. So I just really love this movie, not just because of the zombies, but just because of that underlining feeling that they want to give you. And yeah, I just really enjoyed 28 Days Later. If you're being on the edge about whether you should watch this movie or not, I highly recommend checking it out. So this concludes my movie spooky season. So obviously I just talked about You're Next, Zombieland, and 28 Days Later. I highly recommend checking out all these movies. They are very different from one another, but they all have their very special qualities that I really love and enjoy. So thank you to everyone that watched along my spooky season of movies and checked out my board game reviews. It means the world to me. I'm hoping to do one for Christmas and holiday movies as well. I just not too sure whether I'm going to do it alphabet or just pick so many movies. Hit me down in recommendations below of what you reckon would be better to do or what you'd rather see. let me know what you think of your next Zombieland and 28 Days Later, or what your favourite movies are, starting with Y, Z, or even a number. Thank you as always for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, the usual stuff. And my last review for the zombie spooky season of Halloween will be a board game called Top Trumps 30 Scary Flicks. It's a really simple game, but I just really want to talk about it, and if you've heard about it before, let me know below. Alright, bye!